Morning, everyone. I'm just waiting to see people get on. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm using the mirror today to help. I'm going to do it forwards and I'm going to do it backwards so you can see. Today we're going to look at Grasp the Bird's Tail from the Yarn 24 traditional form. In this particular form we do it twice, once to the left, once to the right. So when I'm facing you, I'm going to be mirrored. When I turn around, I'm going to do it the correct way. Alright, so let's just start out. Feet shoulder width apart, knees are soft. And we're just going to warm up 5 minutes, that's it. You're going to make loose fists, and we just turn the body from side to side. Very gentle. We're moving from the ankles, up through the knees, pelvis, hips, the waist, chest, shoulders. And the head is aligned with the body, so we're not turning and then whipping the neck. So everything turns at the same time. So the upper torso just turns. So again, just let the arms, you're going to imagine that your arms are pieces of string with weights at the ends. As we just turn from side to side, side to side. And again, less is always more, so if you can just turn from here to here, this is fine, or you can just turn all the way. The more relaxed, soft the knees, the easier it is to just turn from side to side. So what we're going to do this and start shifting our weight. When you turn to the left, you shift into the left. When you turn to the right, you shift into the right. So I'm turning and shifting, turning and shifting. That's all. And as you shift from side to side, you just want to be aware of the soles of your feet. How far are you shifting into that foot? 100%, 75%, 50%? Whenever you do any type of exercise, not just Tai Chi, but any type of strength exercise, cardio exercise, you always want to be aware of your body. What's happening with the joints. Very important. You know, most of the time we think about the muscle, we think about, well, we hardly ever really think about the ligaments, the tendons. You know, muscle attaches to the bone by the tendon, and the ligament attaches bone to bone. So what we think about when we are exercising is the muscles. Oh, I've got to look big, I have to look buff. But all that excess strain to create those muscles, what's happening at the joints? What are we doing to the joints? What are we happening at the foundation, the structure of the body? So we just come back to the center. This time now we're going to opposite. As we shift into the right, we're going to look to the left. As we shift into the left, we're going to look to the right. So now it's the opposite of what we just did. See? Oops. See, I'm just doing the opposite of what I did before. Same thing. What's happening with your weight shift? How far are you shifting into that foot? Is the foot rotating out? Is it rotating in? What's going on at the ankle? What's going on at the knee? The hip? These things are all very important when we exercise. Again, the upper body stays aligned. We're trying to keep the spine nice and straight. Turning through the hips and the pelvis. Just a few more. And slowly come back to the center. Right. Exercise is very much like Tai Chi. Tai Chi is like exercise. You don't just want to stop and then move on to the next thing. You want to give yourself a moment to slow down. Very gentle, come back to your center. And stop. All right, good. So, we're just going to start. I'm in mirror, so I'm going to get you to shift into your left leg. Pick up your right heel, right ankle. So you're just softening that right knee. And you're just going to rotate from the hip, the knee, and the ankle. So no pain, no discomfort. Sometimes you might feel a little click and a clack. If you had a chair, you could hold on to a chair while you do this if you're uncomfortable. Or you can have some balance. And we're going to reverse, opposite direction. I apologize again. I see comments going up on the screen, but I can't see them. You know, Tai Chi improves the body and the mind, not so much the eyesight, unfortunately. I'll read them afterwards. And put the foot down, shift the weight into the opposite foot, pick up the heel by softening the knee, and the same thing. Any type of exercise, if you're working unilaterally, you should try and do the same amount on each side. So if I'm not counting, but let's say you do 8, 10, 12 on one side in one direction, and reverse. You want to do that same amount in the opposite side. All right, good. Just shake it out. Easy, right? Warm-ups don't have to be long. You know, even walking to a class can be considered a warm-up. All right, so we just want to get the joints, get the chi, get the energy flowing throughout the body. So we're going to grasp the bird's tail again from the Yarn 24. It's a very nice form. It's linear back and forth. I know some of you had asked for the Chen Man Ching form, but I'm going to try and do that in another class. All right. So I'm going to do it the right way first. So just watch. Okay? And then as I go through each part, I'm going to do it in mirror and then turn around. So this is the correct way. All right? So just watch for a second. Easy. Okay, there's a lot of other things that go on while we do this form. All right, so before we actually do the move, we're going into that hold the ball position, which again, the hold the ball is a Wu Chi position. So in this particular case, your right toes are pointing out, weights in the right leg, right hand is on top, left hand is underneath. And same as before, we talked about last week, was that you should be able to see your right fingernails, left fingertips, right elbow, left elbow, nose, dantian, all facing off 45 degrees to the corner. Okay. So the foot is a sweeping step. So the toe comes in, right? So in order to bring that toe in, the weight has to already be 100% in in that right leg. So the toe comes in, so the left toes come in by the right instep. Now it's a circle, right? It's a sweep. So the leg goes out and step. When we step, we place the heel down, keep the knee soft. Okay, so it's a sweep, step. Then you're going to put that left foot flat on the ground. When that left foot is flat, you're still 100% in the right leg. Watch what happens to the body if I step and without keeping my weight 100%. So when I step, if I step too far, this is what happens. Right? I'm falling into that lead foot. Okay? And we don't want that to happen. We want the step to be as long, my leg is as long from my hip to my ankle, so that it tells me how far I can step. Right? It's my stride length, how long my leg is. Right? Anything more than that, I'm going to have to fall into my foot. Okay? The only way I can step further with my left leg is if I sink more into my right. Right? That gives me that few extra inches. But in this case, I just bring the toe in and step. So I'm stepping forward. I'm still looking 45 degrees, but my left toe is facing forward. Now, transition. How do we get from the rear foot to the forward foot? Right? We can either pull. Imagine somebody has a piece of string or something, and they're pulling you forward. And now you might feel when someone pulls you forward, the body has a tendency to go up. It's very subtle. It goes up and then ends up falling into that foot. I'm exaggerating slightly. It kind of goes up and down, like a little bump. Right? In Tai Chi, we want you to push. So we're not pulling, we're pushing. As we push, we're driving force down through the ankle of the rear foot, in this case, the right foot. So as I'm shifting forward by pushing down through that foot, which enables me to shift my weight forward. All right, so I'm not pulling, I'm pushing. I'm anchoring my rear foot to the ground. So when I go forward, I'm still connected. Yin and yang. It's always yin and yang. That foot is definitely anchored. If we were doing this at the beach, on a sandy surface, as you shift forward, the ankle would sink down into that sand. You have a nice solid base. All right. So holding the ball again, fingernails, fingertips, elbow, elbow. I can see all of it. So as I shift, everything works together. So as I shift, my left hand comes down, my right hand floats up. So now when I'm 50-50, right now I'm 100 and 0. So when I get to 50-50, my hands are passing each other. Holding the ball, shifting. Holding the ball, shifting. Right? 50-50. Now from 50-50, I want to get 70-30 in the forward foot. So I'm going to pick up the right toe, and I'm going to pivot. And as I pivot, the body just falls in 70-30, so I'm facing forward. And my left arm is parallel to my chest, parallel to the ground. All right, so I'm going to do that again. From here, I shift, the hand comes up in front of my chest. See? Protects the chest. Now as I turn, my left arm just drops down. Right, so that 50-50 brings the arm up. Now that extra 20% turns the body to face forward. Right, shoulders, forearm, parallel, forearm, ground, parallel. Right, everything is relaxed. And my palm is across from my breast, opposite breast. Okay, ward off. It's protecting the whole chest, the whole front of the body. So it's pushing down through the ankle, shift, up, down, turn, and connect, down. We are strong. So right now we are 70-30 in the lead foot. 30% of our body is in the rear foot. We're connected. From here, and we're going up to the grass bird's tail. We are turning. As we turn, we're going to drive that force down into that rear leg. So really forcefully down into that rear leg, which is going to turn the pelvis. Right? And we're sinking into our hip joint here. This is a kwa, Chinese kwa. So what happens is your left kwa is going to close up, and your right kwa or hip opens. So you can be aware of these, what's going on in the hip joints. All right, so as we turn, this hip joint is going to close. We're internally rotating around this right hip, and your left hip is going to open. So in order to do that, now as we turn, this left hand comes up, turn, and up. So we're now about 90% in the forward leg. Left fingertips are pointing, the right fingertips are pointing to the left wrist, about an inch or two apart. And the fingers are open, right? So don't collapse your fingers. There's still tension in those fingers. We have the little bird's eggs underneath the armpits, so the arms are round. They're not collapsed into the body. All right, so let's try that again. Hold the ball, shift. Right, left hand is up, down. 70-30. Now we drive that rear foot into the ground, which turns the body. We can feel that right hip closing up, left hip opening, left fingertips to the right wrist. So the left fingertips around eyebrow height, right? We don't want it too high. Watch what happens to my shoulder, all right? If my arm is extended too far, see my shoulder comes up. So we want to keep the shoulder down. And the angle in here is a little greater than 90 degrees. Arms are open. So again, it's going to depend on you, what's comfortable. So down, turn, and up. Good. 90-30. From here, all we do is we just turn the hands down. They're up, down. They settle. Right? Up, out, down. Simple. Nothing more. We're just rotating the forearms. Now we have to shift our way back into the rear leg. How do we shift? Again, we can either push, we can pull. But in this case, we're going to soften the rear knee. Right? Because the weight's in the ball of the left foot. We want the weight in the ball of the rear foot. So all we're doing is going to soften that rear knee. As we soften the knee, we're going to focus on getting the weight into the ball of the rear foot. So we can find our weight up, we can find our weight down. Okay, and as we sink back, the right hand drops down in front of down. Okay. Simple. But we still have to maintain that bird's egg underneath the arm. Okay, next part is the press. Roll back, sorry, I'm so sorry. Sit, roll back, continue through. Now we turn. As we turn the body, you can see my hands are moving with the body. In this case, my left arm stays as we go all the way around. It does not move. From the position where I turn the hands over, sit back, and now turn. My left arm did not move, did not come in. Right? Imagine it's in a cast, it's fixed. So it's over, down, turn. It's the right arm that has to do all the work. So as it sits back, it comes down in front of Dantian. Now we have to turn the body. facing 45 degrees. Now we have to turn through 12. Hands are lined up, right? One hand in front of the other. Now the body's got to turn 45 degrees. Now the opposite hand has to circle around and come to rest on the back of the wrist. Now the whole time we do this, the right hand has to stay in your peripheral vision. So it looks like we're doing this really big move, but it's not. It's just little. It just comes around. Because if we take the arm back here, out of our vision, we can't see it, right? Big rule in Tai Chi is you can't always leave your hands where you can see them. So as I'm at 12 o'clock, now I'm going to turn 45 degrees, and now my opposite hand circles around, and when my body stops, my hand's in position. So another thing in Tai Chi is you don't want body parts moving independently. I don't want to come here and then go, okay, slap. Or I don't want to go slap. So everything moves together. So when the body's in motion, it's in motion. And when it's still, it's still. Again, Wu Qi and Tai Chi. Wu Qi is stillness, Tai Chi movement. So back, turn, 12 o'clock. Now my other hand circles around and comes to rest. All right, so right now we're going into the press. And the fingertips are on the wrist, not on the back of the hands, they're on the wrist. We've got to shift forward. All right, in order to shift forward, we've got to generate force through that rear ankle, push that rear ankle into the ground, and your lead hand, your right hand, is going to press. It's going to roll. Think of your right wrist rolling, your right fingers rolling your left wrist. Right? They're doing the work. This is the force coming forward, and this is the hand that's just following. So as I shift forward, turning, I'm pressing. This is called a press. Some people get this confused with a push, but it's not. Imagine that you had I don't know, a piece of fruit, and you're squeezing, right? So you're squeezing your forward hand into your rear hand, and your rear hand into the forward hand. So it's equal amounts of force. So each hand is pushing 50-50 into each other. So there's that force coming through each hand, all right? So it's not this hand pushing this hand, it's not this hand pushing this, it's their equal force. All right. Okay, so that's the press. The last part of grass bird's tail is the push. So in the 24, all we do is we turn that palm to face us. Imagine you're taking the outside of your hand, your lateral part of your hand, and just spreading it. If this was a piece of bread, and this was peanut butter, if you like peanut butter, you're just spreading it on the palm. So it comes across, so there's that connection. Okay? So as it turns, we face each other. So now, basically, the back of my right hand is still pressing into the palm of my left hand. From here, the arms just open up, separate, shoulder width. Okay, so that's all they're doing. So they just separate. Like, okay, I'm done. Okay? Now from here, we have to sit back into the rear leg. How do we sit back? Again, we soften that knee because we want the weight in the ball of the rear foot. In. So everything tucks in. We're becoming, this is a yang position, sinking back into a yin position. And as we come back in, the elbows come in by the waist because we want to use these legs and now going to push. Right? And the muscles of the legs are a lot stronger than the muscles of the arms, so everything has to work together to launch. So we come in, elbows come in, sink, like a spring, compressed. We're going to concentrate, pushing down through that rear leg, just shift forward. And that's it, it's grass bird's tail. Let's try it again. All the way through. So right toes are out to the corner. We're holding the ball. Left toes come in, sink, and step. Again, step. Right hand down, left hand up. 50-50, pick up the foot, turn and forward. 70-30. Drill that rear foot into the ground, turn, up. Up, up, up. Think about your hips, what's happening at that hip. Turn the hands over, roll back, we sit back. That right hand drops down in front of Dantian, body turns. Again, think what's going on at the hips. Right hand comes around on top as we settle in. Shift forward and press. Turn the palm, separate, sit back, elbow drops in, and push. Once more, and turn around. Right toes out, toe is in, hold the ball, sink. Elbows down, step. Shift, ward off. Right, now just turn, face forward, 70-30. Press down through that rear ankle, force, drive that hand up. Think about going down in order to go up. Turn the hands, sit back, hand drops down in front of Dantian. Turn back to 12 o'clock. Now at 12 o'clock, that lower hand circles around, so everything comes back, so we stop. We're back in Wuchi. Now we go back into Tai Chi, the press. Press, wipe, separate. There's a moment of Wuchi, stillness, in, back, sink, down, up, and push. And use the legs. All right, so I'm going to turn around. Hopefully you can follow me a couple of times. See me, I hope. All right. This is the right way. For the first one. So we're holding the wall. Elbows. Bring the toe in. There's that sweeping step. Foot flat. Shift. Up, down. Pick up the rear foot. Turn and face forward. Ward off. From here, from this hip, drive up. Turn. All the way up. Turn the hands. Sit back. Down. Turn the body. Hand comes around. Shift forward. Press. Open. Separate. In. Elbows drop in. Push. And forward. So there's that connection. We don't want to launch ourselves forward. We want to stay connected so we have the same amount of force going through that rear leg as we have going forward. We're pushing somebody. So when we push somebody, we don't look to take us along with us. So we just push it down. Once more. Hold the toes in. Hold the ball, hands, elbows, bird's eggs, sink. Step. Foot flat. Shift. Up, down. 50-50. Hands basically in place. Turn. We're strong. This is connection between here and that ankle. Drive that force down through the ankle. Turn up. There's that connection. Think about that rear ankle connecting. That's an ankle. Turn the hands over. Sit back. Turn. Around. Push down through the ankle. Press. Palm into palm. Just squashing. Turn palm. Open. Sit back. Elbows drop in. Tuck. Up. Push. Once more. No talking. All right. And begin. All right, good. All right, so that's grass bird's tail, left. Grass bird's tail is one of the original 13 postures of Tai Chi Qigong. It's in every form. So let's just take a look at the breathing that goes along with this. Okay. The breathing pattern is a little bit different, and we need a lot more control with our breath. So holding the ball in this instance is an in-breath. Okay. This is your setting up. This is your yin position. This is your wuchi position. We're holding this ball, so we're holding the breath. In-breath. I hate to say hold the breath. Bring the foot in. Step. That's all an in-breath. 7. Okay? Foot flat. In. So next is an out-breath. This out-breath is quite long. So as we exhale, we need a lot of control. This is all an out-breath. As we continue to breathe, this is also part of the same out-breath. So it takes a lot of control to breathe. That's all one out-breath. It's a long one. So you really have to control it. So again, in-breath, step, foot flat, exhale. Continue to exhale. Continue to exhale. We're still blowing out. Exhale. Long, long out breath. Now finally we can inhale. Inhale. It's a short one. In breath. Alright, so we went through exhale, inhale. Now we have another exhale. So this is a little bit difficult to kind of focus on. So we're exhaling as the hand drops down in front of Dantian, and we turn the body to 12 o'clock. That's the exhale. So we went exhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. We're facing 12 o'clock. Now we can in-breath. Right, so now we inhale as we turn, and the hand comes up and around. That's an inhale. All right, so exhale, continue to exhale, turn the hands over, inhale, exhale, exhale to 12. Now we turn 45 degrees, inhale. Now we've got the press. The press is an exhale. Exhale. Now obviously after an exhale comes an inhale. In breath. Hands come in, sink, and now that big push. Exhale. Okay, try it again with the breath. So, inhale. Exhale through water. Continue to exhale through grass bird's tail. In breath. Exhale. Inhale, up. Exhale, press. Open up, inhale, sink back, tuck the pelvis, and exhale, push. All right, obviously when you're practicing, you don't want to hold your breath. Tai Chi, big no-no. Do not hold, it's not, hold your breath, exhale, hold the breath, in breath. All right, so the breath should be continuous and long. We're just varying the speed. So when we're holding the ball, we're breathing in, stepping, we're still breathing in, we're still breathing in, we're still breathing in. So the lungs are still working. Now there's that pause. Remember we talked a little bit about the pause. And then the exhale. This is long, controlled exhale. Exhale, exhale. Still breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Oh. Should finish your exhale. Turn the hands over. Inhale. Good. Finish the in-breath. Now we can exhale, exhale, exhale to come to 12 o'clock. Finish 12 o'clock. Now we can continue on by breathing in. In. Don't hold your breath. It's a slow breath. Now exhale. Breathe out. Exhale. Slow, 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 slow. Turn the palm. Open up. Breathe in. So again, you're not breathing in and holding your breath. You're breathing in nice and slow. Sink, tuck, set yourself up, and push. Exhale. Let's try it again from the front. Hold the ball. Sink. Step. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So ideally you want the form to follow your breath. So if you breathe a little faster, we can pick it up a little bit. So if your breath isn't as long, as controlled, all right? So we can go in breath, exhale. See? In breath, exhale. In breath, exhale. In breath, exhale. It's still Tai Chi. So, you know, everybody practices differently. We've done some experiments in class where we time everyone's breaths. So, and they range anywhere from, to 1 minute. We've had people that can take 4 breaths a minute. We have people that take 12 breaths a minute. So that should be your governor when you're doing Tai Chi. Tai Chi is made to fit your body. You know, I'll never look like you, you'll never look like me, you'll never look like the person standing next to you in class. So when you practice, I mean, this is a great opportunity with all this social distancing, is that we can practice at our own pace. So just make sure that you practice correctly for your pace. Tai Chi is made up of forms, all right? So we call it the Yan, this particular form, Yan family traditional 24. But we call it the 24 form, but it's made up of 24 individual forms, right? In the beginning there were 13, and we have forms, there's so many forms now. You know, the 108, the 130, 137, the 77, the 71, the 64, 8, the 12, the 13, there's so many different forms, but they all have the same foundation, the same root. So it does not matter which form you study, which family you study, which style you study, as long as you practice. And what's nice about, if you say, okay, every Monday I'm going to practice grass bird's tail. That's it. Just practice grass bird's tail, because everything you need from Tai Chi is in each individual move. So it does not matter if you know 100 forms, all 5 families, one form, one part of one form, it's all the same. So don't get discouraged. You can practice one move for an hour. I think we've just been doing this one for almost 45 minutes. So if you do it correctly, you will feel it in your legs. You're thinking about the shift. There's that push. You're thinking about your hips. What's going on? You know, when I turn, as I turn from 45 degrees forward to 45 degrees, my left hip joint is closing. My right hip joint is opening. All right, so there's yin and yang in the body. This is closing, getting smaller. Internal rotation, opening, external rotation. So this is becoming yin, this is becoming yang. Now when I sit back, now I turn back 45 degrees the opposite direction. Now, as I'm externally rotating, here, this is my forward hip is becoming yang, my rear hip is becoming yin, smaller. All right, so this is things that we have to focus on. If I sit back and turn my body and I collapse this forward knee, all of a sudden, both of my hips, my qua here, have become yin, right? In Tai Chi, we want yin and yang. So as I turn, this hip joint is expanding, opening up. This hip joint is closing, contracting, getting smaller. Right? Again, yin and yang. Every part of the body has yin, every part of the body has yang. Forward and back. How do we move? Yin and yang. So these are the things you can focus on. You know, you don't have to practice every move. Spend. Okay, I'm going to do this. Right? There's a Chinese expression, I'm sure some of you have heard it. It says, do not fear the man or the person. Do not fear the person that practices 1,000 punches. Fear the person that practices one punch 1,000 times. So it just means they're focused on that one move. Right? So this is where it is. We've got all this time on our hands now to just focus, shifting. Right? Just feel what happens. What's happening at the feet when I sit back? Where's my weight? Is it in the ball of the foot? Or is it in the outside edge of the foot? Is it in the heel? Is it in the toe? So we always want to be aware of where our feet are. And this comes into play a lot when we move the arm with push hands, sensing hands. All right? So push hands is a translation error. Push implies that you're pushing. So it's more like sensing hands or feeling hands. It's just the Chinese how it got translated. Right? So we're not really pushing, we're directing, we're redirecting the flow. So if we know where our feet are, our partner, we can feel what's going on with the hands. These are connected and grounded and rooted down here in the hips. All right, so this is grass bird's tail. We do it twice in this particular form. Please, again, like you did last week, text me, email me, call me, we can talk. It's fine. I just can't see I see comments going up, but I can't see them. So I hope you had a great weekend. Stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all in class very soon. And if not, I'll be back here on Wednesday. So let me know what you want to talk about on Wednesday, and we'll take a look at it. Thank you very much.